Okay. Starting again, take
right.
two. Ready, steady, go. Well,
Take two.
what inspired you to start recording this new album, Breathing Fire, especially considering it wasn't something planned?
Yeah, that's a great question because I wasn't planning on doing an album. I mean, I felt guilty. I felt guilty because I realized that it had been forever since I had listened to a full album. I mean, seriously, when's the last time you went back and put an album on and listened to it from beginning to end, right? And I used to do that when I was younger, but I'd gotten to where I just hadn't done that in a while. So I went and listened to AC/DC's the High Voltage album, and I listened to it twice. And I got inspired, because I mean, just that's what I grew up loving, that kind of music. And so one thing led to another, and I was sitting on my couch and I was playing some music and writing on my guitar. And my son walked in the door, and my son is a starving musician, but we feed him. He lives up in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. And he came in. I said, "What are you doing home?" And he said, "Well, I came home to get a free meal." And so I said, "Well, go lace up the drums." So he went and laced up the drums, and I called Roman, the bass player for Jackyl, and he came over, and we just started jamming, and we had the best time. I mean, just had the best time. And again, I wasn't really planning on doing an album. I was just having fun. I mean, how many people get to play with their son, right? I mean, here I am doing a record with my son, and I'm just thinking that this is so cool. And but about 2 days after we had laid the stuff down, about 2 days afterward, my phone rings, and it's the lead singer of AC/DC, Brian Johnson. "Hey, Jesse, how you doing, me son?" And so we started talking, and we talked about family and whiskey and all that kind of stuff. And then I said, "Well, I wasn't going to call you, but since you called me, you got to help me write these songs." And so he goes, "Send them down here." So when you got the lead singer of AC/DC helping you write some stuff, you put an album out, right? So that's how it all kind of happened.
Well, and you mentioned that recording the vocals for Breathing Fire in a non-traditional environment without a vocal booth was both liberating and scary experience. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. Thank you for asking about that, because I've recorded over the years many times, and it's the first time I'd recorded like that, and I just kind of like Frank Sinatra, yeah, and I put a microphone out in the room, and I took the microphone and just put it right in the center of the big open room, and then I just sang. I mean, I just sang out just openly, and I didn't worry about being in the middle of up against the microphone. I was just free. And to your point, it was just really liberating and cool to sing like that, because when you got that microphone there, you're keeping your head a certain way. But when you're in a room and you just got a microphone that's a beautiful, expensive microphone that picks everything up, I was able to just turn my head and just however I wanted to. And it was, to your point, it was very liberating.
And does working with your son Nigel affect the working dynamics and the recording process in any way?
It does, because you can be in a band, as you know, you can be in a band and you can, it's just funny because in a band, you can get in arguments about stuff, and you have to power through it and you get something done. But it's a different dynamic whenever you're pushing on something and they throw the sticks down and go, "Dad," "Dad," it is a little bit different. But on this record, it was such a fun thing. I mean, we really just had a great time.
And what it was like to collaborate with Brian Johnson? Could you explain a little further what it's like to collaborate with someone you admire for so long and who has been a major influence on you?
Yeah, I mean, it's an honor. I mean, just to be straight up with you, it was a complete honor to work with Brian. I mean, he's the lead singer of AC/DC. He sang Back in Black. That's who he is, but he's the most down to earth guy, and he's very disarming. I mean, you know, when you're around him for more than a minute, he just becomes your best friend. And he's always been so supportive of me. You know, I love him to death.
And you have a long history with Sturgis Rally and the South Dakota region. How do these places influence your music and your creative process?
Well, I mean, Sturgis is a lifestyle. You know, it's you know, there's 1 million people go out there every year, and it's a lifestyle. And so you have to you have to soak it up, because it's a really big slab of history. I mean, there's a lot of history out there. It's where the gold rush started, and you know, and the Native Americans, and there's just so much history out there. You can't help but to be influenced, and it's such a sense of such a liberating sense of freedom out there. And you know, you got 1 million people, and there's maybe only 200 police officers. So you know, so it's a really cool event.
I would like to get into the new video, Stranded. The song deals with feelings of isolation and personal adversities. How your personal experience influenced the lyrics?
Well, I mean, I prefer not to tell the stories about why I wrote the song, because I want the song to mean what it means to you. I want, when you listen to it, I want it to mean what it means to you. And on YouTube, you know, there's been some really cool comments with people saying what it means to them already, and that's really rewarding. You know, I don't get up on stage and talk politics. You know, I've never been one to talk politics, and because people don't come to see a concert and hear your politics. They want to come and have an escape, and they want to just have some rock and roll. And the song does mean something to me. I hope it means something to you. The video for Stranded is absolutely beautiful. It's a beautifully shot video. Tristan Bernard shot it. But I'm not like Bruce Springsteen or Bono. I don't think that my songs are going to cure cancer. I wish that they could, but I'll leave it to Bruce Springsteen and Bono to feel like their songs can do that. I'm not that pretentious. At the end of the day, it's just a rock and roll song, right? And so I hope you enjoy it. I hope you crank it up, but it's just rock and roll. That's all it is.
I asked the previous question because of the video that was filmed in the Northwest Plains of the USA. And the video captures the sense of solitude and introspection. And what was it like to film in such an isolated environment?
Well, it was pretty powerful because, I mean, it was 10 degrees. It was very cold, extremely cold. And so we froze our butt off. And we did not plan on those buffalo being there. The buffalo just showed up. And so that was, as cool as it is, it was kind of scary too, because the bulls, the male buffalo, they will charge you. I mean, they don't like you being around their calves. And so it was definitely sobering, because you know, because you've got that powerful of an animal that close to you.
What's in the plans in terms of touring and promoting this new album?
Well, it's, you know, we've been doing some cool stuff. Obviously, having Brian Johnson write some of the songs on the record has been a big factor in people checking it out. I mean, we're heading toward 500,000 streams already on the record. The Breathing Fire, it's an album called Breathing Fire under my name, Jesse James Dupree. And so it's kind of just like the making of the album. It's just organically happening. This video, I would like to say that we planned this video, but it literally just happened, believe it or not. I knew we were going to shoot something. I had a buddy of mine in South Dakota that owned a couple of horses. Just so happened one of them was white and the other one was dark. Mm-hmm. So everything just fell together. And then we stumbled up on top of that hill. There's 100 buffalo. We went looking for a Western bar, and we went into a place, but it didn't look Western. The bar we went to looked like it was in the early 1920s. But I asked the lady that owned it, I said, yeah, I'm looking for a Western bar. And she goes, well, you can shoot downstairs. And I said, what's downstairs? And she goes, well, downstairs is where the original Wild Bill got shot, Wild Bill Hickok, the cowboy back in the old war. He got shot playing poker. And I couldn't believe it. So I went downstairs, and where I'm standing in that video was where the original Wild Bill got shot.
It's amazing. Well, this year marks the 30th anniversary of the album Push Comes to Shove. As it is the only Jackyl album released in Brazil to date, I would like to ask some questions about it. Is that okay?
Yeah.
The album was recorded in Vancouver and produced by Bruce Fairbairn. What was like working with Bruce and recording in this specific location?
Oh, well, Bruce Fairbairn, he's passed away now, and he's no longer alive. But it was an honor to work with Bruce. I mean, he's done some incredible records from Loverboy and Aerosmith, and he worked with a lot of very successful bands. It was interesting though. Bruce would only be there so many hours in the day. He wasn't there the whole time, and a lot of the record was recorded and produced by Mike Frazier, and the two of them were partners for a long time, Bruce Fairbairn and Mike Frazier. And Mike Frazier is a genius, and he does AC/DC. He engineers AC/DC and Metallica. He's mixed a lot. Every record you've heard that's great, he's probably mixed it. But so that's the guys we were working with, and we did it in Vancouver at Bryan Adams, the singer Bryan Adams. We were at his studio.
The title track.
But that's but people who Motley Crue had worked there, and Guns N' Roses, a lot of different people who worked there. Aerosmith, obviously.
The title track performed notably well, reaching number 7 on the Billboard album rock chart. How do you feel about the success of this particular song?
Push Comes to Shove?
Yeah.
Well, which song? Yeah, Push Comes to Shove.
The title track.
Yeah, Push Comes to Shove. Yeah, I mean, it was the first single off of the record. I mean, it came out and the record went gold immediately. And we were actually touring in Europe at that point. I mean, we were doing Italy. And a matter of fact, the video's got a lot of live footage from Italy as where we were playing. And but yeah, the song, we still play the song every night, and it's one of the most impactful songs that we play. I mean, people love I Stand Alone and When Will It Rain and Push Comes to Shove and Secret of the Bottle, and all those songs. People really like them.
You used the chainsaw as a music instrument again on this album. Could you share some thoughts about this unconventional choice?
Well, what is the most definitive instrument for rock and roll? I mean, a chainsaw, right? It's loud, it's aggressive, it's abrasive, it's destructive, it's everything rock and roll should be. So why not?
There's a track called My Life that laments that classic rock radio stations don't play music of new bands. How do you see the evolution of rock radio since then?
Well, in America, rock radio is barely hanging on by the skin of its teeth, because rock radio in America forgot the most important thing. They forgot about localization. They forgot that they should be the voice of their community. And with all of these big companies buying up all the radio stations, they became really generic, and they became really cookie cutter, and they lost their personalities. So their radio stations in America are fighting to reclaim their identity.
How do you see the evolution of Jackyl since the release of Push Comes to Shove until now?
Well, Jackyl's evolution is we've just became more and more ingrained with people that work for a living. We've never tried to be something we're not, and we belong to the people that bust their knuckles 40 or 50 hours a week. They work hard 40, 50 hours a week every week trying to hammer out a living. And when it comes time to jam, they want to do it loud, proud, hard, and honest, and they get it with Jackyl.
Mm-hmm. You played at Woodstock 94 and toured with bands such as ZZ Top and Aerosmith. What are some of the most memorable moments from those experiences?
Well, Woodstock 94 was amazing. I mean, there's 1 million people in front of you. It was pretty crazy. It was very surreal, that. But we've had some incredible experiences in our career. Working with Brian Johnson has always been great. Having Brian Johnson on stage with us singing, and him singing "I Stand Alone," and us singing "Locked and Loaded," which was a duo that the two of us sang together, and us singing Back in Black together. I mean, it's pretty significant for me. Those are that has got to be a highlight for sure.
What lessons did you learn from the creation and reception of this album that still influence your work today?
The influence from which album?
Push Comes to Shove.
Yeah. Well, that record was we were still learning. We were still trying to get an understanding of the best way for us to record. But as far as finding my groove, I really like the new record, my solo record. You hear a lot of performance. We captured a moment of everybody playing together, and I think that to me is my favorite way to record.
How have you managed to maintain both relevance and success over so many years, both with the band and in your solo career?
I think just being honest about who we are. We have not chased trying to be the flavor of the day. We've not tried to be something we're not. We've just been honest about who we are, and I think that's largely the reason why we've been successful.
You have several ventures, including the American Outlaw Bourbon and consulting for Harley Davidson. What motivates you to diversify your interests and invest in such different business areas?
I've just gotten away with it. I can't believe that I get away with it. I mean, it's seriously, it's been a crazy ride. But I love Harley Davidson motorcycles, and I've been riding my whole life. And it's an honor to work with the Harley Davidson Motor Company. And I do a lot of different things with the Harley Davidson Motor Company. I have partnerships with them. I consult with them. We do a lot of cool stuff together. And we're looking at rolling out an international program that we may do soon, that I may be bringing some people from international to come to Sturgis. So that would be really cool.
With so many responsibilities and different projects, how do you manage your time and energy to ensure each one gets the necessary attention?
I don't sleep. I don't sleep. I wake up and I don't stop.
What are your future plans, both for your musical career and your business ventures? Are there any new projects or collaborations you're excited to share?
Well, I've got my own line of whiskey here in the United States, a Jesse James bourbon. It's doing really great. And I've got the stuff going on with Harley Davidson. I have the Full Throttle Saloon up in Sturgis, South Dakota. That's a big deal. And so we, again, we just, I wake up every day and just take as a big bite out of life fast as I can.
Mm-hmm. After so many years in the industry, what would you say still keeps you passionate about music and business?
I just love it. I mean, it keeps me passionate. I mean, my passion is what I do, and I don't wake up every day and feel like I'm going to work. I wake up every day and I'm happy to do what I'm doing. I mean, I really do love what I do, whether I'm working with Harley Davidson, whether I'm making music, whether I'm making whiskey. It doesn't matter. I love, how can you not love motorcycles, Harley Davidsons, whiskey, and rock and roll? How hard is that?
If you could give advice to someone starting in the music industry or in the business, what would it be?
My advice to someone starting the music business is nobody is going to come and sprinkle pixie dust on you. Nobody's going to come and be making all of your dreams come true. It's on your shoulders for you to make your own dreams come true. That's what my advice is for people to make their own dreams come true, because that's what you got to do. And don't count on anybody but yourself. Don't count on anybody but yourself.
Yeah.
Hello, officer.
Hold on, Jesse Dupree. Hold on, I'm signing off on 200 guitars that showed up. I'm in the middle of an interview, so I'm sorry. Okay. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi. Sorry about that. Well, while we were doing the interview, I had 200 guitars delivered, and I've got to go. When I hang up with you, I've got to go autograph 200 guitars, and they're getting shipped out to 200 Harley Davidson dealerships because they're going to be giving them away. They're going to give the guitars away.
It's amazing. And as for my last question, I would like you to tell me what is the best way to respond to criticism?
You know, in today's time with social media, you know, Instagram and Facebook, and I mean, I think everybody has pretty much figured out how to deal with criticism, because there's an asshole at every corner trying to tell you their opinion about whatever you're doing, right? And they let you know if they like it or if they don't like it. So I think that everybody has become a little more thick-skinned, because I mean, there's going to be people watching this interview and they're going to be telling you what they don't like, and you know, or they'll be telling you what they do like. And I celebrate that. If somebody doesn't like what I do, I respect that. I mean, hell, I don't like everything I do. I mean, you know, I mean, why would I expect somebody to like everything I do? And I celebrate the fundamentals of rock and roll. And you may not like what I do, but I hope you can respect that I celebrate the fundamentals of rock and roll every day. And I've been so blessed in my life. I've been so blessed. And I hope that everybody out there makes their blessings too. I hope everybody else finds great things to be excited about and be happy about. And I hope you find it in music. You know, music is an incredible, powerful thing. And you asked me how I keep my passion. I love it. I live for it. There's the best 2 hours of my day is when I'm on stage. And there's people that come out to see the band that maybe have never heard us before. Maybe they don't even like us, but they may come to the show for whatever reason, and they end up having a great time, because it's not about being pretentious. But I appreciate everyone that's checked out your interview and support you. I appreciate everything you do to support music and sharing new music. I'm excited about the new video, Stranded, that you can find on YouTube. I'm very excited about the new solo album, Breathing Fire. I mean, it's a slab of rock and roll. And that's what it is. It's non-pretentious, just straight up rock and roll. It was influenced heavily by AC/DC, and some of it's co-written by Brian Johnson from AC/DC. So again, I'm very blessed. But I thank you so much for your time, and thank you for the interview. I hope for us to do it again sometime. And I'd love to get down to your part of the country. You're part of the world. I'd like to come down and play sometime.
Yeah, it would be very, very nice to have you in Brazil. And this pretty much sums up. Thank you so much, Jesse. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did.
Well, thank you for your patience. And as I was having to get 200 guitars unloaded, but you actually got me out of work. If you hadn't have done this interview, I would have had to have lifted all those guitars. So thank you.
Thank you so much, man. Bye-bye.
Go stream Stranded. Go stream my new album, Breathing Fire. Go get it. Have a good day, man.
Yeah.